Hey, here are 5 stupid things I've noticed about weddings. Invitations. When my wife and I got married, we invited 8 people to our wedding. Our parents, her sister, my brother, and 1 grandmother each. We didn't even send out invitations, which made me proud because I receive wedding invitations in the mail with the same eager enthusiasm with which I receive checkup reminders from my dentist. And they always come with those RSVP cards that you're supposed to fill out and send back. And they give you 2 options: accept with pleasure or decline with regret. Why do they force me to lie? If I accept, it's not with pleasure. It's because my wife wants to go and I can't talk her out of it. And I have never declined a wedding invitation with regret in my life. Send me one of those cards with the option to decline with pleasure. I will check that box with gusto. Pre-wedding festivities. Bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, wedding showers. I'm throwing all of the pre-wedding events into one thing here because they're all bullshit, and when we got married, my wife and I tried to avoid them as much as we possibly could. And I say tried as much as we possibly could because apparently, well, it's going to be a small wedding and we don't want gifts or a party is an ambiguous statement broadly open to interpretation. We had to attend 2 parties thrown for us by relatives and coworkers who just would not take no for an answer. And I had to talk my dad out of throwing me an unwanted bachelor party. And my dad hates parties, even ones with strippers. What is it about a wedding that makes people want to force merriment on others? The songs. I'm not talking about the music during the reception. I'll get to that in a second. I mean during the actual ceremony. When you walk in, you sit down, you look up at the front of the church, you notice a microphone set up off to the side, and you think, fuck, I'm gonna have to listen to somebody's cousin sing this year's American Idol single, aren't I? Why does this happen? Are the people who planned this wedding under the impression that we're all just having a great time out here? That when this is finally over, we're going to be filing outside, whispering forlornly to each other about, oh, how we wished it didn't have to end? None of us want to be here. Half of us are here out of some feeling of guilt or obligation, and the other half of us are here because we didn't want to start an argument with the first half. If we thought we had a choice, we'd be anywhere else. Lengthening the ceremony with wedding party karaoke only prolongs the suffering of your guests, most of whom are just hanging on by their fingernails, hoping that they can make it to the reception. Which also sucks, but at least there's food. And booze, hopefully, which, if you're like me, will help you to tolerate those among your fellow guests who are putting way, way too much effort into having a good time. It's that same sense of mandatory gaiety that permeates the pre-wedding festivities. Everything at a reception, from the DJ playing shitty music to the best man attempting lame stand-up comedy to the pandering and saccharine first dances, to the tossing of the bouquet and the oh-so-naughty removal of the garter, to the chicken dance, the motherfucking chicken dance. It's all designed to force you to have a good time. A typical wedding reception is like a compulsory office party held during the Bataan Death March. But at least it can't last forever. Right? I mean, eventually the party's going to be over, you're going to go home, the happy couple is going to go off somewhere and fuck for a couple of days. It's all good, right? Well, until the happy couple comes home from the post-wedding fuckfest and they open their wedding presents, and then they have to face the final bullshit wedding-related task: thank you notes. Entertain, if you please, the following radical scenario. You give me a gift, and I make my appreciation for that gift known to you by saying thank you. And that's it. You've done something nice for me, and I have expressed my gratitude. End of transaction. Why would I ever need to write you a fucking note? And I know before you say, oh, but Steve, what about people who have big weddings and they don't open the presents right there? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the expectation that exists, independent of whether or not there was an opportunity for an in-person thank you to be expressed. When we were married, someone gave my wife a wedding present, and she, because she's a very polite person, said thank you. And the person who gave her the gift said, I want a thank you note. Why? You've already been thanked. Do you want to be thanked twice? Do you want it in writing? Do you want some kind of physical evidence that, yes, in fact, you did give us a dip bowl set, and in fact, we did really appreciate it, even though there's no way we're ever going to use that shit? Fine, you want a thank you note? There's your fucking thank you note. Oh, look, I misspelled fuck. And look, the thank you note thing, that's just an example of what I hate about weddings in general. We take these things that should be small and personal and heartfelt, and we blow them up out of proportion. We make them way too complicated and ostentatious, and we just fucking ruin them. And look, if that's what you really want, if you want a big, grandiose wedding with a bunch of people and songs that lasts forever, and then you go to a reception where the best man is cracking stupid jokes and there's lame music and there's the fucking chicken dance, if that's what you want, then by all means, do that. Do that. Don't let me make you feel bad about it. Don't let me take anything away from you. Do whatever you want, but please, save yourself the postage and don't invite me. Actually, consider the saved postage my gift to you. No thank you note necessary. The hardest part is only picking 5. Catch you next time.